G'day guys, my name's Nick and this is my channel Low Range Nick, where I do videos about four driving, accessory fitting and maintenance for your four drive vehicle. So in today's video I'm going to be fitting a 30mm Diff Drop kit from All Terrain Industries to the Mu-x. So I'll show you guys all the steps necessary to fit this to your vehicle. So this will be the same for the Mu-x and D-Max models. And I'll also talk you through the reasons why it's necessary to fit one of these and also when it's necessary to fit one of these to your vehicle. Okay guys, so when is it a good idea to fit a Diff Drop kit to your IFS four-wheel drive? So usually the rule is when you're lifting your four-wheel drive more than 50mm, it's almost a necessity to fit a Diff Drop kit to the front of your IFS four-wheel drive. So basically, standard your CV angle is quite flat. When you lift your vehicle more than 50mm, the CV angle is increased a fair bit, which puts a lot of added stress on those CV shafts, and it can lead to premature breakages and definitely premature wear. So fitting a Diff Drop kit basically brings that differential down, which decreases the CV angle and means that your CVs will last a lot longer and you definitely won't have premature breakages. So this is the All Terrain Industries Diff Drop kit. So in the kit you get the new crossmember, which replaces the factory crossmember and drops the diff. You get your two bushes, you get all of the bolts, nuts and washers necessary to fit it to the vehicle, and you might see these little threaded holes here. So these are actually to drop the factory bash plate back onto the vehicle, and you can tighten it up under this Diff Drop, which is pretty cool. So just before I fit the Diff Drop kit, I just wanted to show you guys the CV angle. So it's a little bit hard to see in behind the strut, but you can see the general angle of it in behind there. So the diff's obviously on this end, hub's on this end, and you can see the CV angle there coming down like that. So standard, this CV angle is quite flat, so it's usually pretty flat with no lift kit in these vehicles. And then when you raise it, it obviously gets this incline here from the lift kit. So that means it's constantly running at this angle, and then even when you go over bumps up and down, it's extending further up and down, whereas usually it would run flat and it would extend up and down from that point. So that's why I'm fitting the Diff Drop kit today, to bring that angle down, and it should reduce any premature wear on those CVs, and they should last a long time. Let's get stuck into the install. So I'm going to raise the vehicle up just so it's a bit easier to get underneath it, and then we can rip the bash plates off and then get that lower crossmember out. Now I've got the vehicle jacked up a little bit so I can get under it pretty easy. I'm just going to rip this middle bash plate off. Chuck that back there. Now we've got that middle bash plate off, we can take this back bash plate off as well. So this back bash plate just has a bunch of 12mm bolts in it. Rip those out. So I'm just going to rip off this 19mm nut here, and then that loosens the bolt through there which goes onto the diff mount. So I'll just put that aside and save that. We also need to rip out these 14mm bolts. So there's 4 here on either side of the crossmember. There we go. You can pull those out. And just be careful, it doesn't drop on your head. There we go. There we go. So there's that back cross member off. So we can put that aside. Now that diff dropped just a little bit, but it does have 2 other mounts holding it on, so you can just drop it in the meantime. So now I've got rid of the old cross member, I can fit the new All Terrain Industries cross member into here. There we go, that's one. Get this other side through, these other ones through, and we'll just get the nuts on now. And we'll just leave all this loose till we've got all the other mounts in properly. Right guys, so I've got the new cross member in, so I've got all these 4 bolts in. I've got this just sitting there loosely. So now what I'm going to do is drop off the 2 side mounts off that front diff and put these little spacers in there. I've just taken this left side diff bolt out, so that's the mount on the side of the diff up on the chassis. So what I'm going to do now it's dropped down is just put that little spacer in there with the bolt and just leave that loose, and then I'll do the other side. So this is the factory diff mount bolt on that left side. So I've just pulled that out, I've taken the washer off, and there's like a little rubber ring on there which sits on the bush. I've taken those off. The diff kit comes with the new bolt, so you put the longer bolt in, you put the washer on, and then that's the little rubber bit on top. So it goes bolt, washer, rubber bit, factory mount, and then you put your little spacer in up the top there. So I've got that all sitting in there loose, just got the bolt in there, and now I'm just going to change the other side, and then I can tighten it all up together. So I'm just putting a little bit of Loctite 243 thread locker on. So it's a medium strength thread locker, just to help prevent these bolts from coming out over rough roads or corrugations or anything like that. So you just put a little bit on each thread, so just a little dab on each thread, and then that just helps prevent this bolt from coming out or loosening itself. So now it's time to rip this side diff mount out. So just pull this bolt out, support the diff. There it is. So here you can see the factory bolt. So this is the factory washer, and then the factory little rubber protector there. So all we need to do is just take that off all together, just like so. Grab our new longer bolt and we just slide that on, and then this diff mount goes on top of the diff, so lowering the diff, and then we put our new bolt in and tighten it all up. You just got to sort of line it up a little bit, get it aligned, and then it should all go in pretty easy. So this bolt was a little bit stuck, so I just had to give it a little bit of a tap with the hammer, and then I can pull it out the top. And we just leave all the washers and bushes and everything on the top here how it is. So now I can just chuck this bolt through with a bit of Loctite on and the washer. Tighten that nut up, and then I'll zip that in with a gun. So now I can tighten these 4 14mm bolts on the back of the cross member. Alright guys, so all the bolts are tight. I've double checked them all with my breaker bar. I've just double checked I've put in all the spacers in the correct spots, and that it's all sitting correctly, and it all looks good to me. So basically what I'm going to do now is put this middle under tray back on. This back tray is going to have to stay off because the mounting bolts are different. So I'll just put this under tray back on. So the threaded holes in this cross member are smaller than the factory ones. So I think they're M12, so I'll just have to put some M12 bolts in here, so 2 on the back there just to retain this bash plate. So if you wanted, you could fit this plastic under tray back to the vehicle, so it would just mount off those 4 bolt holes. The front 2 wouldn't be able to be used because on the old cross member it has these 2 mounts, and on the replacements they don't have those mounts to be used. So what I'm going to do is leave it off though, because I want to get a metal or aluminium bash plate to go along that area. So it's totally up to you guys whether you refit this or not. But personally I'm going to get a bash plate, a proper bash plate fitted. So now the diff drop's all fitted, the cross member's fitted there, and I've got the spacers under the side mounts on the diff. It's dropped the CV angle a fair bit now, so you can see it's quite good now, it's pretty flat. So now the diff's been brought down 30mm, it's flattened the CV angle off a lot. So you can see that it's sitting a lot flatter now compared to where it was before. So I'll put in the comparison video of the before, and now I'll show you the after, which is now. So you can see it's sitting a lot flatter than it was. So it's brought that diff down. The CV angle's a lot straighter, so it means those CVs are going to last a lot longer, and they won't break prematurely when I'm in the middle of nowhere on a tough track. So I've got the All-Terrain Industries 30mm Diff Drop kit in the MUX now. It's brought the diff down, straightened the CV angles out, and now I'm a lot more confident when I go off-road that I'm not going to break a CV because of that bad angle. So if you guys would like to grab yourself some stuff from All-Terrain Industries, I'm going to have a discount code which I'm going to put down in the comments below and also in the description. So you guys can grab that code, go to All-Terrain Industries website, and you can save yourself a bit of money. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and stay tuned for more four driving and accessory fitting videos. Cheers guys.